welcome, luminous beings of light. Thank you for joining me here at the SoulFire Alchemist. I'm your host, Beth SoulFire. Thank you for joining me today again for another episode of Soul Talks. And today we're going to talk about the astrological and energetics of the upcoming month of September. Now, granted, I know we're already on September 8th, but by the time this video is uploaded, we should be on September 9th. And you should know that today is a portal day. Well, what is a portal day, you might ask? Well, when you take numerology into astrology account, they both point to days of particular energetic interests through a calendar year, right? So when you take a look at that, you can, after a while, you start weaving some things together. And you guys know, at least the ones of you that have been following me for many years, despite my movement from one platform and channel to another, you know, the energies, the Schumann resonance, well, pretty much all of it are things that I followed. But what I have found are that we have specific days that have a specific enlightening factor to them. And really easy, especially on those days, it's really easy to feel like you've got access to the higher realms, access to your higher self, and that will definitely be true of today if you're watching, and it is today on September the 9th of 2022. The day of the month is 9. The numerology of the month is 8, the numerology of the month is 6. The day of the week, of course, is a Friday. It's the 252nd day of the year, and the master number of that day, of course, is 9. So 9 being one of my favorite numbers, I highly recommend they all do some sort of work on this day that has something to do with this full moon in Pisces that we're getting ready to talk about, which will actually occur on Saturday, September 10th at 5:59 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Now check where you're at geographically, because that will make a difference based on your time zone. What time the moon actually occurs for you. Now, full times is a time of culmination. Full moons are a time of culmination. They're a time of fruition. It's a time for big drama. It's a time when things really start happening. You notice that the hospitals become full. There are more car accidents and fender benders on the road. People tend to get more bent out of shape. And all that stands to reason, because full moons bring the tide in. And as a result, it reveals and shines a light also, because it's the lunation of that full moon that shows the entire world the truth about what's going on, and you as well, if you are willing to look and you don't have your head stuck in the sand. So with that, I want to talk to you a little bit about a few things happening in the month of September and beyond to kind of get you through. So first up, I want to talk about something that's happening as I record this, and as we step into the full moon will already have happened, which is this Mercury retrograde that's going to take place. And it begins in Libra, and of course will retrograde back to 24 degrees of Virgo. And, you know, of course, take a look. You've got to consider the shadow phases. Mars is going to be going retrograde soon. Please look for my video coming out. I'm going to be doing a video specifically on Mars and Mercury retrograde, how you can make the most of those retrograde energies. But being that we're going into a great big retrograde season, that means that we have several of the personal planets in retrograde, if not all of them. And they are, except for Venus. She's the only one not retrograding as far as the personal planets go. Every other planet in our solar system is in retrograde as of this month. So as you go, if you haven't already started feeling this, you'll witness and realize that retrograde energy is all about going inwards and backwards. So it gets a bad rap because people want to blame it for things going wrong. Oh, it's Mercury retrograde. My computer's messing up. Yeah. Yes. But is it going to be that dramatic and a big deal for you if you've backed up your computer and done your due diligence when it wasn't Mercury retrograde, you see? So a lot of times things that the retrogrades, not just Mercury, but any retrograde will bring up for us are things that we have not seen too fully in the past. Because you know what? I'm gonna tell you the truth. You can see both, right? So when the tide rolls in, you can see the most beautiful blessings that you threw out there like spaghetti on the wall and you didn't know what to bring back, and it will bring you a treasure chest absolutely packed full of gems and jewels and diamonds, and you're like, holy crap. I didn't know that work would even return me anything. I did not have any return on my investment, but bang, there you do. Retrograde seasons can bring that into you for past work that you've done, right? You can collect on that sort of stuff. People don't talk about this, I find, at least in astrology. But by the same token, it can also bring trash in too, those tides. So, it's the unwanted stuff or the people from the past that maybe aren't so pleasant that you wished you had maybe not crossed paths with. If there's unfinished karma there, unfinished business there, things like that are more than likely to pop back up during a retrograde time. Mercury specifically, because Mercury rules things like communication, contracts, especially technology, especially communication through technology. But Mercury, more than anything, rules our mind. So if we didn't have a Mercury retrograde once in a while, everybody would just go a little bonkers, right? Because our minds have to be slowed down sometimes. We have to have that point of 0 point, right? That still point, where we go inward, where we're not outward, where we're not scattering our energy everywhere else. A time when we pull that energy inward and recollect ourselves, and that is what this time is all about for the month of September and beyond, but especially in September, right? So this week, as we get into Friday and Saturday, you're going to notice this retrograde energy come a little bit more in. You're going to be feeling a lot of a pull between me, we energies, right? So what's mine, what's yours? I talked about this a little bit in previous horoscopes. If you want to go back and look at those just to recap some of the energies that are still lingering that you're probably still dealing with, because a lot of these are big, heavy-hitting energies, and just because I talk about them on one don't mean it's done. Moon energy is fleeting. The smaller personal planets, those are more fleeting, but when we get the farther out you go, the more heavy-hitting and longer-lasting the energies are, okay? But you're going to be really focused on all things Pisces, right? So look to your natal chart. You can go to astro.com and pull one up if you'd like. You can also see me because I do natal chart readings, but bring up your natal chart and see what house Pisces falls in for you, and you'll understand where this falls, where this is going to affect you the most. And in specific, look to 17 degrees and 41 minutes of Pisces, okay? Because this is going to be exactly where this falls for you. And this is going to create some sort of illumination, like I said, on this area for you. Some sort of fruition, a closure. It could even be a closure or some big drama, something coming to full light. So just notice what that might be for you. If inner work and focus and bettering yourself is a thing that's on your radar, then this is going to be lovely energy for you, and I'll go into that more in a second. But this new moon, it's really important for you to really be in tune, okay? So Neptune is involved with this energy. With Neptune, I always think of the word in tune and attune, right? Or tuning. And with the word tuning, to me, always comes the word discernment. And you need to be tuned into spirit. You need to be tuned into your higher self. You need to be tuned into God, into divine celestial forces, right? But you also have got to be able to tune into high discernment to be able to tell whether or not what you are dealing with is of a celestial nature or not. Is it a heavier, less than beneficial energy that really would not serve you? Or is it a higher, positive, enlightening energy that is of a higher quality that does want to come in and be of assistance, that is benevolent? So that's where high discernment comes in. Now, this new moon is a perfect time for you to work on this if this is something that's important to you. Okay, if I could pull down a more perfect space and time for you all to work on your muscle of discernment and intuition and figuring out whether or not something is the truth, a 3D truth rather, or even your truth, or a ring on the a vibration on the pulse, like picking up the pulse, right, of what it is that you love and desire that gives you the clues to your soul path that you need. Okay. Now, before I digress too much, you don't want to miss things, right? Be sure that you are gathering the facts. So while we do have the sun still in Virgo, it's still good to be grounded and maintain that balance of gathering information. Just don't be so attached to all of it. Gather all the information that you need that makes you feel satisfied and secure. Just try to have an open-mindedness about it, okay? Because right now, things aren't very discernible. This is dark water. It's hard to see, even though it's a full moon, right? Just because Neptune's involved. You're going to have a lot of things from the past. And like I said, even trash things, things that you thought were gone may come back for you to revisit or to deal with. And that could be a circumstance, a person, a situation. It could be a lot of different things. It could just be coming back up for you to have a second chance to deal with it differently, maybe even. So be aware of these things. So this is a combination. What I'm giving is a combination between the astrological energies and just the energetics that I'm picking up. Because I still cannot get away from working with my Pleiadian family. They come around quite a bit. They want to give me the, information about incoming energies that they're actually foreign to our solar system. And they want me to talk about those things to make you guys aware. If you're not interested in this, I completely understand. If you want to scribe forward, you can. But real quick, I just want to touch on this. They wanted me to say that, well, and I know this through my own research, and you can too. You can look this up yourself. We've had a lot of class M flares and a lot of solar flares. A lot of incoming energies from outside of the solar system, from maybe even could be the center of a galaxy, but it could be even intergalactic energetic energies incoming that we aren't used to having, that are new. And when we're dealing with these things, we don't know what they are. And so it becomes more important for us to have a very heightened sense of self-awareness. Okay? I want you to pick up what I'm putting down. It's very important. If you don't get anything else that I'm saying. And I encourage you to go back and listen to any of this that you were just like, what? I needed to hear that again. And share this with somebody that you feel like might benefit. This could save somebody's life, or it could even save them from a horrible disaster if they just know enough to be aware of things and to question things and to be open-minded yet very understanding of where their own values lie. Okay? So, you might find this time right now could also be filled especially these last couple of months, right? And then these first week or two of September, going to be a lot of excitement coming in around news because we're entering into eclipse season again, you guys. So we're going to be having a lunar eclipse on November 8th and a solar eclipse in October. So that's a lot of great big hello and goodbye energies. Okay? Eclipse season always brings non-negotiable changes to your life. Right? The big things, the big deals. And I know that a lot of y'all are in a position right now, you're probably just shaking your heads going, I don't want to hear this right now. But here's the deal. You'd rather have reality, right, and be able to know what that is and be able to face it head on than to not even know what's going on and be oblivious to it. At least in my world, that's what I value, is knowing the truth and to be armed with as much knowledge as I can and wisdom too. But I want you to be aware of the sun because it can very much affect your well-being mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and physically, psychologically, okay? And be aware of what the sun is doing on a day-to-day basis. I know it's hard for you to keep that on your plate, but, you know, it could be important for loved ones who are dealing with dementia or have heart problems or blood pressure. Or you yourself, if you have any of these symptoms, you know, it can really cause and exacerbate those problems. And these are also symptoms of ascension as well. And a lot of them get confused with each other. You know, in future episodes, if you guys are interested, I can go down the walls of delineation of what 5D actually is and versus the ascension. But unless it's something that interests you guys, I'm not going to waste a whole lot of time on it. But I just want to say that, you know, my Pleiadian family, they are, right, I mean, they're not of the 3D. They're more of fifth dimensional and above beings of light. And they are all here to help us. They don't want to hurt you. They have no desire to do that. So it's my personal opinion that if there's an alien entity, you know, or whatever, that is a negative experience for you, that is not what you think it is. It's something else entirely. If that stuff interests you, you can let me know. But I don't want to go any further here because I'm doing an energetic update. And we're already 18 minutes in. So this is a really excellent time, you guys, for any kind of shadow work. Please do this. Pay attention to your dreams. If you don't have a dream journal, start one, or maybe start a voice recording where you can keep up with it. This is an excellent time to, because past things are going to be coming up anyway. So why not go ahead and get a head start and crack the nut open, get out the snorkeling gear, and go down into the catacombs of that dark inner self and see what shadows lie there. Because if you don't, they're going to come back up and haunt you anyway for you to deal with later. And I'm an advocate for getting ahead of these things. But during the retrograde season coming up, since I was on the subject there a second ago, I want to mention this. And I'll go into greater detail in that next video that I'm getting ready to upload. But past contacts that you've had, like I said, all of those tend to come up, you know. Any speaking engagements that you have to do, any work that you have to do that's in the backdrop, like behind the scenes work. I'm working on a lot of that stuff myself. If you're teaching, if you're learning or studying, like if you're getting ready to take one of my upcoming courses, this would be a really good time for that, because in a retrograde area, you don't want to be launching anything new. You don't want to be starting anything new, but it's a really good time to learn. It's a good time to even go back to courses that you started that you didn't get to finish at some point. Or maybe to revisit with a teacher that you once thought that you might want to sit with and learn with. This is an excellent time to go back and do these things. Let the retrograde energy serve you, and this is what I'll be talking about in my video coming up. It's also a really good time for anything low stakes. So if you do have something you want to try, let's say you got a little course you want to launch, or let's say you got something new that you want to try, that you want to start. I do not recommend this energy for launching a new business or a great big project where you want to see great returns, or something you want to build that's going to be long lasting. This is something low stakes, okay? So something that you're not attached to. If it's something that you're just trying out for size, just to see how it works, and you're not attached to the outcome, I say go for it 100%. Travel's not usually supported during retrograde energy, and that doesn't mean it can't be. Short distance travel can be really fruitful. And last minute travel can also be. But something that's been planned for a long time, or, things like that, it doesn't bode well specifically for those things, right? So, leave yourself as open as you can during the month of September. I would say don't, all of us are, me specifically, I know, I've got a lot of Virgo and Cap energy. I want to schedule myself out. We all do, some of us, right? But I'm telling you that if you're a workaholic or somebody that really likes to overschedule yourself, leave yourself somewhat unscheduled. You'll thank yourself for it later, because it leaves room for last minute magic to come open and to abound. And so that leads me to the segue that I actually wanted to make back into talking a little bit about this Pisces new magic that can happen around it, because you want to be looking for magic in the mundane part of life, right? But this is where you're going to find it during this time. It's going to be in the unexpected places, the places that you don't think about or that you've forgotten, right? You can even find it through your higher self by talking to God, by talking to your angels, by talking to your guides and your teachers, by talking to your ancestors, those ones of them who are deeply well and deeply wise. These are the places where you need to go at this time during this new moon. This is where you're really going to be able to go inward and find the answers that you seek. This is hearkening back to astrologically a time in April when you shifted. So think back to what that might have been to you towards maybe the middle to the end of April. You had some sort of a shift, right? And so this is going to harken back to that. There was a mental break. There's a mental break for you here. It's time for you to stop the inner chatter. It's time for you to break away from the worry and the anxiety of life and to focus on your soul path. That's what this portal energy of the 9/9/22 is all about. That's what the portal energy of the Pisces new moon and the portal energy of the retrogrades are about. This is a portal energy for you to shift into higher dimensions of who you are through going inward and finding out exactly how you can reach that highest level of discernment and rise above the duality of the overwhelm and the scattered energies. And understand too that, Jupiter opposing this Mercury energy. Mercury is going to be given the stronger force here because he is stationary right now. Okay, and any planet that's getting ready to move retrograde or move forward from being in a retrograde position when they are stationary means right before they take the turn to go forward or backwards. Okay, when they're stationary, they're their most powerful. So I want you to understand that while Jupiter is very powerful here, Mercury has his own freaking power, right? So, you're going to be looking at tuning in, right? Any kind of, like I'm even picking up like any kind of bath or water work that you can do, grief rituals that you can do. This is stuff that if you need guidance with, I can help you. Let me know, Beth@SoulFireMultiversity.com. But do some sort of a water ritual or work with water somehow, because this Pisces new moon is directly related with water, and it connects you. It will help you process through the overwhelm. It will help you pull in your energy again so that it's not scattered, and it will help you alter your own state so that you can pay attention to your own dreams and get rid of, filter through and out of yourself and your body, your mind, your heart, your soul, and your spirit, the toxicity, the addictions, the illusions, the delusions, and the deceit. The full moon illuminates all of these things for you. And the flooding of the water of Pisces can come and cleanse all that away. So let her come and cleanse you this weekend of all that worry and anxiety, the things that you need to surrender and let go. You've got to give it up to the universe. It's time. It's time. It's time. You got to get out of the minutia. You got to stop needing all the answers. You got to step way back and give yourself some space, watery, deep space. Don't overthink it. Don't force anything this month, you guys. Don't force it. Be sure and tune into that discernment of yours. Rise above the overwhelm. Pull in your scattered energy and really let it heal you. Go inward and heal all of the ways in which you're toxic, in which you're addicted, in which you live in an illusion, in which you are deceiving yourself and lying to yourself. And I always say, don't bullshit yourself, remember? Now, there's blessings to be had and kisses to be had by minding our business and doing our work. Because this is only going to help us improve our connections. Venus is still in Virgo. Okay? So, it's fine to test the reality. Do it. It needs to be done. But don't do anything impulsive. This is not a time for impulsivity, irrationality, inflammation, right? Because it can cause that. Especially right now. But as we move into the energy of the full moon, rather, right? And this is a time shamanically where you can do a full moon fire ceremony to burn those things that are not serving you any longer. And so if you are interested in a shamanic full moon fire ceremony, do let me know. I'm happy to hold one. This is a good time for you to burn anything in your life that's not serving you in the way of addictions or toxicity, illusions, delusions, deceit, anything like that. Blocks in your creativity that you want to burn, right? That's a perfect time. This is a perfect time for you to do that. And the water of the fire moves things quickly. And the water energy of Pisces wants to move things slowly. And sometimes to pair those two things together works. And sometimes you have to know which is which and why. Why? Why? In this case, would it be good to have a fire ceremony when you're dealing with a water full moon? Come to a shamanic energy class if you're interested in that, okay? You guys know how to get in touch with me. It's www.soulfiremultiversity.com. Okay, if you're interested in these classes, I'll be starting them back up soon. My coaching program will open back up in the spring. So, and I may go ahead and open it in the early spring. All right. But as far as Pisces goes, right, we're working with winter energies shamanically. And so you're entering into a winter territory. It's very icy and cold, but very watery. And, Pisces is the end. It's the death. It represents it. In that regard, it's very Plutonian, right? But not really, because it's ruled by Neptune. Because this is the last doorway, the last portal out to God, to the celestial realms. And soon comes our birth point into that Aries energy, to the new self, the new ego, the new identity. And that will be coming shortly after the full moon in Pisces, when we come to full fruition and realization of all of the things that we needed to let go of during the procession of this specific wheel. This culmination of full moon energy in Pisces. And that's the way it is. Wheels within wheels, spirals within spirals. Oh my gosh, my lovelies. So much. I could go and wax forever, and I could go into metaphysical and philosophical, discussions to the end of the earth with you, because my Beloved, it's one of my favorite things to do on this planet, on this earth, is to be with you and talk to you. But it is half an hour now, so I bid you adieu. And sign up for my free webinar. I got a whole free a whole page dedicated on my website to you personally, full of free goodies. Those goodies are expanding. Please get signed up to my newsletter. Like I said, www.soulfiremultiversity.com. If you go to the freebies page, you'll see my free webinar. You get signed up for that and take that. It's called Take Back Your Bliss. It helps you to detach from all the crap that's going on in reality right now and get into your bliss state so you can do some manifestation. It will also give you some tools, some shamanic tools to help you really focus and hone your own intuition, which you desperately need right now. So I'm not saying, hey, this is a freebie, you should just go get it anytime. I'm saying, hey, this freebie is really going to go use it. It will help you if you'll go use it between now and the weekend, okay? Try to use this well, any time is good, but it's really going to come in handy this weekend, okay? And that'll be the 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, and onwards. Leading up into this full moon, new moons are more for manifestation. Full moons are more for letting go. So really just be thinking about what you want to surrender. This is time for you to surrender the things that you've been worried and too anxious and too caught up in the minutia over. So be sure and write those things down. Release those things into the fire if that's what your chosen method is. Release those things to God, to the universe, to the cosmos, to your higher self, to whatever it is that you choose. Some higher power, something other than yourself, because sometimes we are not an island and we don't just deal with things ourselves, and we need help and we need support. And that's what all of these energies are here to do, is to be help and be supportive of us. So just to give you that precious reminder, to feel that spark in the center of your own precious heart, to take that deep breath in and that deep exhale out, and remember, I'm always with you, okay? And look for that new upload coming next week on the retrograde energies of Mars and Mercury, and in general, and how to get through retrograde energies. And know that you are so very loved. Use this energy very wisely. I love you so, so, so much. And I will see you on the flip side.